I'm Shereen Cohen. I'm a postdoctoral fellow in clinical psychology and a LEN trainee, and I'm excited to share with you today my project Get Mindful, developing an online wellness and support group for parents of individuals on the autism spectrum. Here's the disclaimer. Okay, so first some background. Parents of children with autism spectrum disorder have been found to report greater parenting stress, marital distress, and mental health symptomology when compared not only with parents of typically developing children, but also when compared with parents of children with other types of disabilities. Also, parents of children with ASD experience higher rates, higher rates of fatigue, physical health problems, poorer overall well-being, and lower quality of life than typical controls. However, research has also found that social support, parenting self-efficacy, and coping styles moderate the association between parenting a child with autism and parent stress. Parent support groups have been shown to increase knowledge, decrease stress, and increase empowerment among participants. One particular study found that an intervention which combined peer support, mindfulness, and strategies based in positive psychology can have a beneficial impact on the psychological and emotional well-being of parents of children with disabilities. Very little research has investigated the impact of online support groups, but of course, over the past year, that's been essentially the only option. Interestingly, a study from 2013 found that parents of children with ASD who participated in an online support group rated the experience as positive and helpful, suggesting that it could be a viable option. So what did we do? There were several parent support group protocols we were able to get access to, but none had been delivered online. Therefore, we used our own knowledge and experiences to draw from these programs and create a new program that we believed would meet our particular needs and those of the families we aimed to serve. I co-created and co-facilitated this group with two of my fellow LEN trainees, Kristen Wallman, who has a professional background in social work as well as being a parent advocate, and Abby Duraswamy, who is also a parent advocate. In terms of recruitment, we distributed our flyer to all MIND staff, and it also made its way to the Warm Line newsletter as well as Facebook. And in regard to inclusion criteria, this group was open to parents of individuals diagnosed with ASD who could be of any age or language level. In terms of demographics, as you can see, we had a pretty wide age range, with parents ranging from 25 to 53 and their children ranging in age from 2 to 27. The groups were mostly moms with a few dads and mostly white, with just under 50% of parents who were of Black, Hispanic, Asian, and other racial identities. So now getting into the program curriculum. First, here is what Get Mindful actually stands for, our clever little acronym. We talked about stress and anxiety, the importance of self-care, different forms of self-care, mindfulness, various mindfulness practices and exercises related to body and breath, as well as mindfulness of thoughts. We talked about self-compassion, grief and acceptance, identifying and utilizing strengths and resources. And of course, the parents were sharing their own experiences and supporting one another throughout the group. Before and after participating in the group, all parents were asked to complete 3 standardized questionnaires. And after completing the group, the parents were also asked to complete an anonymous feedback survey. The Parenting Stress Index is a 36-item measure with 3 subscales: parental distress, parent-child dysfunctional interaction, and the difficult child subscale. The Family Empowerment Scale is a 34-item measure with 3 subscales: the family subscale, the service system subscale, and the community political subscale. And the Satisfaction with Life scale is a very brief measure with 5 items rated on a 7-point Likert scale. Then for the anonymous feedback survey, there were 3 questions rated on a 7-point Likert scale, several open-ended questions asking for general and specific feedback about the group and the leaders. Okay, now getting into our results. So a total of, a total of 24 participants were accepted into the groups, 12 per cycle. So we ran 2 consecutive cycles. 75% had consistent attendance, meaning at least 5 out of 6 sessions. Unfortunately, only 14 participants completed the survey measures at both pre and post. Everyone completed it at pre, but only 14 also completed it post group. Fortunately, all of those participants had good attendance, so we were able to include all 14 in the analyses. The demographics of those who completed both pre and post measures look a little different from the full group. So in the interest of transparency, I wanted to share the demographic makeup of those who provided the data I'm about to share with you. So first, looking at the parenting stress index, we were excited to find significant reductions in parenting stress across all 3 subscales, as well as the total score. Very exciting. For the family empowerment scale, we didn't find any significant changes, but did find a trend towards an increase in empowerment specifically for the family subscale. And on the satisfaction with life scale, again, we found a trend towards an increase in overall life satisfaction, though not quite statistically significant. All right, so now getting into the anonymous feedback. The majority of parents rated their experience as very positive, so 7 being more positive and 1 being more negative on how did you feel about the group overall, how much did this group meet your expectations, and how likely would you be to recommend this group to other parents. Notably, so as you can see here, most of the parents gave us pretty high ratings. Notably, 2 parents gave low ratings, but unfortunately, those parents did not offer any feedback on the open-ended questions regarding what they liked or didn't like. So unfortunately, we don't know why they gave those negative ratings or what we could do to improve from their perspectives. For those who did offer us more extensive anonymous feedback, the sort of qualitative feedback. So for the question of what did you like most about the group, some common themes that emerged were sharing and hearing other parents' experiences, information and practical tools, and a lot of parents liked the convenience of the online platform. In terms of what did you like least about the group, some people said that 90 minutes per session was too long. Also that 6 weeks was too short. We got some conflicting feedback, such as, some people saying it was too broad versus not broad enough. And a lot of people said nothing, so that was nice. In terms of what would you have liked more of, a few people said more sessions, and some people also said more discussion of grief. That was a very popular topic. What would you have liked less of? General response was slides, or some people again said nothing. For what tools or resources they found most helpful, a lot of parents said just feeling connected with others who share similar experiences was very meaningful to them. Learning about self-compassion and also specific mindfulness techniques, as well as strategies for building mindfulness into their day-to-day life. And when we asked for general overall feedback, multiple parents said they really liked the wide age range. Some people said they hope we keep going with this group, keep offering this group to other parents, and a lot of just sort of general expressions of gratitude and appreciation. All right, so getting into the conclusions. So we were able to deliver a parent wellness group and support group via Zoom, showing that it is feasible to do so. Additionally, participants reported significant decreases in parent stress, as well as trends for improvement in family empowerment and quality of life, which given our small sample size is highly encouraging. And most participants rated their experience as positive overall. So we've got feasibility, acceptability, and some positive changes for those who completed the surveys at both time points. In terms of future directions, obviously, I very much hope that this program continues to be offered, ideally by a group of facilitators with similarly diverse personal and professional backgrounds. It would also be great if we could increase access to more diverse participants and figure out how to make this program as beneficial as possible to participants of various backgrounds. In terms of specific practical changes, making this group 60 minutes per week rather than 90 and spreading it out over more weeks, and also finding a way to cut down on slides and make it more discussion-based are goals for the next cycle of the group. Additionally, it would be nice to potentially do some more formal qualitative analysis of the anonymous feedback, and potentially in the future, when the group is a little bit more solidified, a randomized control trial. I would like to thank Abby and Chris, who I could not have done this group without, as well as Robin Stewart, Abin Stamer, Patrick Huguenin, and everyone who shared our flyer, and especially all of the families who participated in the group. Here are my references. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Yeah, hi, this is Len Abaduto. Can I ask, I actually have two questions.
Yeah.
First of all, just a great presentation and a great program. So thanks so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
So the one question is, if you could talk a little bit about why you expected changes in family empowerment. It's not really apparent to me, but I actually think it's a good thing because there's some specificity to the positive effects that seem really linked to the content of the program. So that's kind of one question, just why you expected the family empowerment change. Then the second question is just the maybe a more trivial one, but why you got such a low post-treatment survey rate.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess I can probably answer the second question more quickly. And just parents are so busy, and it's really, really hard to get parents, especially parents who are, dealing with raising a child with special needs, to sit down and fill out. I think the survey only took about 20 minutes. But once the group was over, I think it was just really hard to get parents to kind of sit down and do that for us. It was even hard at the beginning. It took a lot of reminders. But yeah, I think that was a challenge. And then in terms of the family empowerment scale, I think certainly one of our goals was to empower families to feel more confident in their own parenting skills, and know that, you are a good enough parent. And that is valuable. And, we're all struggling, and sort of that common humanity piece of self-compassion was part of it. And also just from my own past research experience, when I had developed a parent support group in grad school, we had used the family empowerment scale, and that ended up being the one measure we did find significant results in. So I thought that there was a chance that we could see changes there. And again, it wasn't significant, but we did have a very small N, and there was a trend on the family subscale. So I think there still could be with a larger sample size.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.
Shereen, I had a question. Did you look at the differences in responses between parents who had young children and much older children? Because you had a very big range of
That's such a great question. I didn't look at that, but now I'm curious. I'll have to go look at the data again. Thank you for that idea.
I would think that there would be some interesting things, maybe not in your sample size, but
quite possibly. Yeah, where would you anticipate seeing differences?
Well, I would think that somebody who joins a group with a child that's already 27 years, that they might have tried some other things before. You might gain some interesting feedback from those individuals.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to look at. Thank you. I will just on that note say it was really nice to have the wide age range. Like I said, a lot of the parents also appreciated that. And it was so wonderful to see, parents of some of the older kids being able to offer some of their own experiences and wisdom to parents of, a kid who's 2 and just got diagnosed. And then for those younger parents to kind of look ahead and see that there is hope there, the world hasn't ended, and, there are a lot of positives that can come out of their lives.